Isn't this a beautiful place? It's a spiritual place. I'm really humbled to be here today. And my name is Eleanor McMahon. I'm the MPP for Burlington, the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sport in the province of Ontario. So I'm wearing two hats today. I was listening to Councillor Salt, and I'm sure you wear many hats at the same time also. You're a man of many hats. And I have my hat on as the MPP for Burlington, but also the Minister of Sport and the Minister responsible for our relationship, the North American Indigenous Games. So I'm very proud and very humbled to be with you today. I want to welcome Councillor Salt, and please give our regards to Chief Laforme. I know this is a busy day for you all, and we're honored that Mark Laforme is here and his entire staff are here. It's really a great pleasure to meet with you. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for your partnership with our government. Thank you for engaging with us in the spirit of the duty to consult, but also your expertise in helping us to ensure that we are compliant, but that also we are honoring your traditions. So thank you very, very much for all the work that you do. I'm also responsible for the archaeologists in Ontario. I know that there are archaeologists here today, and we honor them, and we honor you for your work that you do and the contributions that you make. Thank you. I do want to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation. I want to show my respect for their contributions and recognize the role of treaty making in what is now Ontario. Hundreds of years after the treaties were first signed, they are still very, very much relevant today. And of course, we are gathered today to celebrate National Aboriginal Day. And I want to acknowledge and thank the leadership of the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation. And again, please give Chief Laforme our best. I was with him on Monday with the Premier when we opened Ontario Place, which again is on your traditional territory. And the partnership with the Mississaugas in that regard was again spectacular, as your artists and experts helped us to create what is an absolutely beautiful space on your traditional territory and reflective of your traditions. So thank you for enriching us with your culture and your knowledge and all of your gifts. Thank you. So this is a special day. It's the summer solstice. It's appropriate that we honor Mother Earth today because we have the longest the greatest number of hours of daylight today, so we get to celebrate well into the night, which will be beautiful. And it's an honor to celebrate the culture and heritage of the Indigenous peoples of Canada on this very special day. As you all know, June is also National Aboriginal History Month in Canada, and during this month we have a chance to experience and celebrate the rich and traditional First Nations, Métis and Inuit culture here in Ontario and in Canada. And I do want to say a word about our 150th anniversary of our Confederation. But I think it's terribly important to remember that although we are celebrating our 150th year of Confederation, it is important to remember and acknowledge that Indigenous people were here for many millennia before Europeans arrived. And so again, the twinning of those important celebrations and anniversaries are very much with us today. And so we honor your contributions in a very special way today, and we take time to celebrate the pride in your culture, your heritage, and your traditions. It's important that we take time to reflect on our past. It's important that we take the opportunity to be honest with ourselves and with each other, that as a province and a country, we have much work to do. We can celebrate successes and achievements. That's very important, but it's also important to, in the spirit of reconciliation, be cognizant of the failures that we've had in our past, and even failures today, as we examine our relationships with our Indigenous people over the last 150 years. So I say that in the spirit of honoring you, but also in the spirit of reconciliation, which our Premier and our government has embraced. We are committed to the journey of healing and reconciliation, the journey together with all of you. One way that we're answering the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada's call to action is by providing opportunities for Indigenous youth to progress through their chosen sport, including by participating in the North American Indigenous Games, which Ontario is so very proud to host for the first time, and which our government is very proud to support. We're excited about NAG. Why? Because we know that many talented athletes in the Indigenous community will compete in Toronto this July, and we know too that they will inspire youth all across our country. And I've been talking about this with some of the Indigenous leadership in terms of what do we do when the NAG is behind us, and how do we continue to inspire those youth and First Nations that aren't able to come, because they need that, and we want to give that to them. So we're having conversations amongst ministers about how we can keep the NAG alive in terms of its spirit and its legacy, to continue to inspire Indigenous youth across Ontario. And that is something that I'm very, very much excited about. So, of course, I'm excited about the games, but I'm even more excited about the potential for their legacy as well. So, I do want to thank very much CN, not just for their support of the Mississaugas, which is really something that we should honor and celebrate as a partner in the private sector. You are a shining example of what companies can do and be in terms of their relationship with the First Nations. So we thank you for that, and we celebrate your contributions today. And as was mentioned, your long-standing relationship with First Nations is one of respect and mutual collaboration. So thank you, CN, for that, and thank you for supporting the NAG. Again, as I mentioned, it's not just about the NAG, which is terribly important, but it's the legacy of that. We in the Government of Ontario have the honor of supporting these games, these international games like we did with Pan Am, but it's the legacy of the games that carries on in the hearts and minds of these young people, that carries on in Healthy Habits for Life, and helps to really leave that important legacy in their lives. You know, your sponsorship, CN, of NAG signals that it's not just government that is working towards healing and reconciliation, and nor should it be. We all have a responsibility to do, and it is only by working together that we can achieve the work that we need to do in a spirit of reconciliation. From the Ontario government's perspective, we are committed to building a better society, one in which Indigenous Ontarians are very much a part, one in which they have the opportunity to contribute, to see their dreams, and to see those dreams actualized, one which they have a bright and prosperous future. So on this special day in particular, but all through the year as well, I invite all of you to take part in the very special community events across Ontario that recognize and celebrate the unique cultures of the Indigenous peoples of Canada. And I thank the leadership, the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation, for their partnership, for their work with our government, for the inspiration that you provide, for the leadership that you provide. And please take back to your people how gracious and truly pleased that we are to be with you today. And I ask you to do that on everyone's behalf. This is indeed a very, very special occasion. We're delighted to be on your traditional territory. We thank you again for all of your work and for your partnership. Chimigweb, Shimisi.